Welcome to the latest updates. What's new and coming soon across Microsoft 365. So welcome to May. So folks, we've got updates for Copilot, OneDrive. Actually, I took the Outlook section out at the last minute. SharePoint, Teams, and a couple from around 365. Folks, have a look at Copilot. So Agent Builder creation experience is getting some updates for Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you can see on the screen here that we've gone into Copilot and we've said we want to create a new agent. And you can see on the right hand side now that we've got, oops, we'll go back one. You can see that you've got this new layout. We've got the templates that we can explore, and we've got the My Agents. And I'm going to comment on that in a moment, but let's just have a quick look at this screen. So we have the describe section and the configure section side by side, and you can just type in here, or on the left hand side in the describe, you can describe your instructions and it will update it as you're looking at it. So it does a bit of thinking, then it updates it over here. Folks, that change is coming late April to late May, and it should make it a little bit easier. But I tell you what caught my eye when I was looking at this. Let's just go back one. If you look at the agents and you're thinking in your mind, you're not quite sure how they're built up or how they're made, or if it's a little bit abstract for you, come and have a look at these templates. So you can expand it and you can see lots of templates in there. And then when this screen opens up and you can scroll down and you can see that these are even the Microsoft agents that they offer, you can see all the instructions, really detailed, fantastic details in the instructions, and the knowledge, it has all the knowledge things. So if you're hoping to learn a little bit more about agents, I think it's worth coming into the Agent Builder, looking at this new experience, but looking at the templates, because actually they're really interesting. But anyway, the main point is that this whole area is getting a refresh, and you should have it by the end of the month. The updated M365 Copilot Notebook overview page experience is coming as well. So we're going to have this AI generated summary of the notebook that's going to be a little bit better than it was before. These one-click creations directly from the overview page. Now, of course, you can go into click create, but it's going to offer them up here on the right-hand side where it says number 2. The key insights and suggested actions based on your content as well, and clearer organization of the high-level themes. Apparently, it's going to have like a nice simplified layout for improved readability. Now, I've said maybe over the last 2 months, I've asked people about what they use notebooks for, because some people I know struggled to. You see the value of it, and you know how to work them, and you use Copilot, but just kind of get that gel together isn't always easy. Now, I have a use for this, and I think it's these new quick create options. Next time I do a Microsoft exam, which will almost certainly be Copilot related, I'm going to do all my study and my prep inside a notebook. I'm going to do all my resources in here, and this is where I'm going to go to work, because depending on the type of learner that you are, or maybe just the mood you're in, or what you're doing, you can create an audio overview of your learning resources on this topic. Maybe a mind map if that works for you. If you click study guide, you get maybe, I think it's 6 or 8 different types of study guide you can create. Maybe you just want a regular document. But folks, definitely worth a look. And especially, I'm going to show you there's another tweak coming to notebooks that's going to make what I've just said even more useful. So if you're struggling with notebooks, folks, go and have a look, especially with the new changes that are coming, and maybe use it next time you want to you're going to learn something. Okay, moving on to the experience-specific Copilot chat history. So currently, the Copilot navigation pane, wherever you are, it shows you all of your chats, regardless of where you're looking at them, whether I'm looking at them in OneDrive, or just in chat, or maybe in PowerPoint. If you look at my history, I see all my history. If you look at this here, you can see here that I'm in Outlook. And what I've done, remember folks, when you go to Outlook, you have the little pane down the side. Remember, you can drag it, you can click on it, you drag it across. The little grab handle here. You see that I've made this bigger. But what's going to happen is, when I look in the future, when I look at Copilot in Outlook, I'm just going to see the previous history that I created and I've engaged with in Outlook. So I don't have to scroll through all this other stuff. I'm going to see my Outlook ones in Outlook. I'm going to see my PowerPoint ones in PowerPoint. Only a small change, but I think that's going to be quite useful. Late May for that one. Okay, just a quick one. So I was talking about notebooks earlier, and I was talking about studying. One challenge we've had in the past, if I had a page that I really like, I've got to save that page, maybe as a PDF or whatever else, and then use that as a source inside my notebook. not for long. As you can see here, if you try to put an external website as a link inside your notebook, you get an error message. From late May, you're going to be able to put external public websites as references inside your Copilot notebooks. That last change, I think, folks, is fantastic. The things I've talked to you about notebooks today, I think make them super useful. Why don't we move along? And just a quick one for OneDrive, or couple for OneDrive. Files deleted from the cloud will no longer appear in your local recycle bin. Okay, so you know that you have OneDrive on your machine and you have OneDrive in the browser. What's going to happen is if you delete a file from in the browser, it will also delete locally, but it won't get replicated into the recycle bin locally. Okay, so you just need to remember that if you delete it in the cloud and you want to recover it within 93 days, then you've got to do that in the cloud as well, because it won't also be kept locally if you've deleted it in the cloud. And that might have changed, but that might catch people out late May for that. Sync support for up to 1 million items in Windows. I don't know who's got 1 million items in their OneDrive, but the limit from 300,000 is going up, which already feels like a lot, is going up from 300,000 to 1 million, assuming that you've got your machine has got the power, the capabilities to manage that amount. December for that. Okay, folks, skipping straight into SharePoint. Now, I just open this by asking, is anybody using Copilot to create SharePoint pages? Be really interested to hear your experience of this, because I had a call literally half an hour ago, maybe an hour ago. So it's not literally half an hour. It is about an hour ago about this. Anyone using Copilot in their SharePoint page creation?
I didn't use it specifically to create the page, but I did make a page and then say to Copilot, I don't like that, make it better. And it told me how to make it look better, and I copied it and it worked.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that, Laura. And that's the great thing about Copilot. And we've all got, so it's one of the things that I think one of the when we talk about Copilot, we've got to talk about this stuff. I think one of the reasons that organizations have trouble with Copilot training, making it stick, is all the variables. So think about all the different people on this call, all the different jobs that we've got, all the different roles that we do, our responsibilities. So all those variables times these variables times those variables, then the variables of the apps that we use and our level of knowledge and the things that we have to do. Are we creators? Are we users? And there are so many different things that you can do. So I think that's a perfect use, Laura. Um, in the past, I did an internal demo where I used Copilot, a bit like you said, to create a SharePoint page, and we started off with nothing, and we created content using a slide deck, and we created the images and the banners, and we had I had a 29-minute challenge to create a SharePoint page from scratch, and we had an agent in there. We had different sections, but it's now becoming like a bigger process where we can create a page. Let's start have a look at this. So in here, you can see that I'm creating a page. Now look at the top right-hand corner. See this little sparkle, like the Copilot sparkle? So we open that up, and now we can start giving instructions. So I've kept these instructions super basic. This is, if I was doing this for real, I would not use prompts this simple and full of typos, but it seems to cope with that. But let's look at this. I just said initially, create a page about M365 Evergreen updates, use content for the last 2 months, and it has done a first pass at it. Okay, so we move along, and then we focus on, and then we say, of course, we would use grounding, right? Be more specific, and actually, I've given it something more specific to look at. It might be, look at number 4 here. It might be that actually, maybe like Laura, I'm doing a bit of Copilot and then a bit myself. I can then go in and I can edit the sections manually, or I'm going to stick with Copilot, and I'm chatting on the right hand side. And I've said here, redo the overview to focus on end users, list all the apps covered. Now look at that. You can see it's highlighted there, it's highlighted its changes, but that just with 2 simple instructions, I am on my way to creating a useful page based on a resource I've already got for Microsoft 365 updates. That's due early May to early June. You've got early access, you may already see that. Certainly on the machine behind me, and that government organization, I don't have this one there, but that is on the way. Now it's interesting. Now I think I don't because I can't see this being good enough without like a cunning eye to say put something on your intranet because that level of work is like a real it's like a skill, isn't it? I think about photography. When I think about this, for some reason I think about photography. Like I could go to a wedding and get my Android phone out and I could snap some photographs. And I'm taking photographs of the wedding. Now compare that to what we've got this guy that we work with called Max, and he's like a photographic Jedi, and he can take the same photograph, but somehow I don't know how he does it. He focuses on a thing that you should be looking at, and he's just perfect. And he's a proper photographer. And I think knocking up a SharePoint page like this is like using an iPhone to take a photo at a wedding. But actually, for your intranet, you still need a professional, don't you? But actually, maybe I've got a team, and we've got a little project, and I've got a little page that I have a page that I have for new people to the team. This might be good enough. Might be good enough. So that's one way of creating SharePoint pages. And now we've got this other way using the SharePoint page agent. Before I came on this call, I had a call over a government organization, and I do twice a week. I do a Microsoft 365 drop-in where people can just walk up and just ask anything. Um, I got slightly caught off guard because this colleague was already using the SharePoint page agent, and we actually created a page with it and we looked at it, and that's what I'm about to show you now. And I'm glad I did because it's better than I expected. Look at this. So we've gone to Copilot, and then on the left-hand side, I'm going to click on All Agents, okay, and it takes me to the agent store. Why don't we then do a search for SharePoint page agent, and you can see that it comes up. Predictably, we have to add it. These are always worth reading, because sometimes we can struggle to understand what an agent is, what a feature is. These often have really good explanations. So take a moment and read those, and then we add it. Now, they would say that we'd like to create a page about blah blah blah, and of course we do we include whatever files or grounding that we want, and then it will create a page. It will give all the detail. Now, I'll tell you what's interesting is that I think this screenshot from Microsoft is already outdated, even though it's a new agent, because when I used this literally just an hour ago, this isn't what I saw. Okay, so it drafted out the page. So it created the page. I can see all it was drafted it out. It drafted out. Whereas it's a little bit out of sight, out of mind on here, isn't it? It's saying that I've done it. Click here to go and have a look. Whereas actually what it did is that in the agent, it created the page. It showed it all to me, and then it said, if you'd like to commit that and create a page, choose the SharePoint site you'd like to put it on, and then you have to say, okay, let's choose a SharePoint site. And it goes, oh, here's a little box comes up, a little drop down, and you choose the site, and then it goes in, and it goes into draft mode, ready for you to use. I have to say, I'm really glad that I had that experience before this call. I was a bit skeptical about this. I was surprised how good it was. It's not ready to publish. You've got to do some work on it, and it's a bit texty, but actually, I was quite surprised how good that was. This is what else we got. This looks quite interesting. Create charts on pages with AI in SharePoint. Look at this. I see this terminology more and more. I see Microsoft talking about they're talking about AI rather than Copilot because they've onboarded Anthropic as a sub-processor. I know that in the UK and in Europe that's not by default, but in the rest of the world that it is. So I see them. Look out for that change in language. They're talking about with AI lots more because you can choose your models now, can't you? So that's interesting, little sort of change in language. Anyway, so we've got this new web part, but next time if you're a SharePoint person, go and have a look at this agent link. Putting an agent on side your page is fantastic. The FAQ is surprisingly good as well. But we're here to talk about this chart one. So you can see here, I've gone to a SharePoint page. I've added the new AI chart web part, and I said I want you to create a chart based on and based on whatever your grounding is, and it'll create it and it'll put it in there. It doesn't look like it's going to be dynamic, so if things change, then you're going to have to go and change it. Unfortunately, folks, I don't have a screenshot for you. I tried to go and create it myself, but I don't have this web part yet, so it might be that it's not quite ready. Although we should have it by any day now, but into late May. So if you need to visually show something, but you're not amazing at creating charts, I think this is definitely worth a look. Okay. Moving on from SharePoint page creation, discover Copilot agents in SharePoint and OneDrive file preview. So look at this. So I'm in OneDrive on SharePoint, and I've previewed a file. Let's have a close look at this. You see this down the bottom right-hand corner. It's just summarizing this PDF, creating an FAQ out of it, extracting key information, or explore what else Copilot can do on this file. Just a quick change, but look at that next time you're on preview. Look at the options down the bottom, especially if it's a massive document or you're struggling to get the key points out of it, then maybe Copilot can help you. And you should, yeah, actually, you should have that already. So, a new SharePoint experience, including a redesigned app bar and start page. And I think I'm just going to just refer to my notes and you'll see why in a second. So I want to get this part right. Now, this is SharePoint at the moment as we have it. So you can see here that we've got our start page, my sites, my news, my files, and my lists. And then we have the create here. So down the left-hand side, that menu is very much about me, isn't it? All of those start with my. This is the change that we're going to see. So then we have Discover, Publish, Build, and OneDrive. Let's go into those in a bit more detail. Now, the first, if your company has set this up, then the first one that you have there will be your home site. Okay, but you might not have done. And then we have Discover. So this is where we discover what's around us. Look at this. You can see that I've got this pop-out open. That's why this is quite busy, but it doesn't need to be open. But this is discovering my recent sites and what's around me, but based on the things that I do and the people I interact with. This is where I'm not quite so sure about this, if I'm honest, folks. Then we get to publish. So what we got here, publishing pages, news posts, campaigns, looking at analytics. You can see the options that we've got to create stuff there. And this continues. We're going to build here. So the main things that we look at are our sites, building lists, create a document library, create an agent, and then we've got the stuff. Then I've got my stuff underneath here, and then the next one is the OneDrive. So that seems to have moved. Let's just go back to here. You can see I feel that it's gone a long way from the me type stuff to pushing the creation type things. I don't know if anyone's got any views on that, and you think actually that's a great idea, Mark. They've done the right thing. But I was on a call. I think maybe another government organisation. I think there's 100 people on the call. We're talking about this, and most of them weren't creators of anything. They work within other people's creations and the areas. So those buttons, they just felt that. I don't know. It's interesting that they've gone away from the me stuff to we want you to create stuff, folks. Anyway, whether you like it or not, mid-June to late July for that. Undo, redo for PDF annotations. Can be real fast on this because the last time I spoke to people, only one person out of 100 used it. So you know whoops, I've just gone too far. At the top here, we can edit and create. Maybe Laura, you're looking at something that I've created and you just give me some feedback on the PDF. The bit that's new is the undo and redo, but that's interesting. It's also just a reminder that functionality exists with your PDFs, that you can do markup over them, and actually you've got that already, folks. Okay, a couple of quick ones for SharePoint. SharePoint site use and page analytics. And look at this. I think this is interesting. The number of times Copilot and AI agents reference this site's documents and pages. This might be useful if you look at this and actually this number is really high. It might just remind you of the value of keeping that information up to date, because if we have out-of-date information, we have out-of-date results, don't we? And then again, the number of unique users who access this site content through Copilot and AI agents. And again, that might just give you a steer that actually this site or this page is more valuable than you realized. That's been pushed back to July. Team site homepages will automatically collapse inactive news web parts. So inactive means no new news for 30 days, and it's just going to collapse that section. I just think you should be aware of this, just in case that collapse does something to the layout. I don't know if it will. I haven't seen it yet. It's due by late May, just in case that does change the layout of your page when that section collapses. File actions in SharePoint. Now, this is one, when this comes out, this is going to be one that maybe you want to keep an eye on and just see what it does. So thinking about having a chat panel inside SharePoint, and you can tell it to do things with files, and you could tell it to archive things over a certain age, or move things, or rename certain files. So I want you to keep an eye on this one. This, you can see here, this has got the telescope icon. It means it's from the 365 roadmap, and it hasn't made it onto into the admin center yet, but I think I'll be telling you about that next month. I think that is definitely one to watch. Okay, let's see what's going on over in Teams then. So in the chat, I'd also like to know whether this is of interest to you, because this has got a number of uses, hasn't it? Delete Teams meeting recap content. So the new delete recap option will appear in the more menu in the meeting recap. So you can see up here, I've clicked on the three little dots. I've got this option to delete the recap content. Now, even if you don't have a full Copilot license, you'll still see this option because there's still a recording, there's still a transcript, but this screen's showing everything. So it will permanently delete the recording, the transcript, AI summary, and notes. These are not recoverable, and it will tell you what it's going to delete, and it will tell you that they're going to be deleted. Now, it doesn't currently delete shared files, and quite rightly it shouldn't, should it? Because the shared files are somewhere else, and it's just been shared in the meeting. It doesn't currently delete the custom summaries, so you might have set up in the summary. It's not shown here actually. The custom summary or any audio recaps, although that's expected in a later release. Anyone got any strong views on that? Should we be able to delete this stuff? Or is it right and proper that, especially if the meeting contains stuff that's not accurate, or actually we go through stuff and we decide, actually, you know what, this stuff's not right, we don't want to get referenced. Should you be able to delete it, or do you think you shouldn't? So share a Teams meeting recap with non-attendees. So this is going to surface in two places. So when you go into the recap page in the tab, or the thumbnail or the section that's inside that's just inside the chat. So you have the option up here, little drop down, and then down here you can see that I'm just in the chat, and I've got this little icon there. So from here, I can say I'd like to share this recap. So I can either just create a link, or put the person's name in and send that off. Now, organizers, this is for you, Martin. The organizers have different rights to people who just attend. If I'm an organizer and I share a recap, I share a link to the recap and I'm giving them access at the same time. If I'm just an attendee, I can share a link to it, but the person has to request access, and that goes to the organizer for them to approve. So that might be useful to be able to share share that recap outside of the meeting if that is appropriate. Okay, again, a thumbs up from Martin. Okay, just a quick one. It might be that that Sarah, you've got a super important presentation coming up, and maybe you have a few issues with your machine, maybe. And actually, wouldn't it be great to double check your microphone is working and your speakers are all working before you do the most important presentation of the month? So you can see here we've got this new option to test the mic and the speaker option before you join, and it will ask you to speak. You pause and then it'll play it back to you. And I know it's only a small point, but I think that would just take some of the clunkiness out of maybe people joining meetings. If people double check their kit was working, that might be useful. This is one of those features where you kind of think, how did it not always have this? But anyway, regardless, you should have that by the end of the month. Another quite useful change coming to Teams is automatically transcribe Teams meetings without a recorder. You might look at this and think, surely we already have this, Mark. Well, kind of. If you manually start to record a meeting, so the meeting started, then you choose to record it, then you get a drop down. You have a choice between doing a video and transcription, or just a transcription, don't you? But you couldn't do that in advance. You had the choice to record and transcribe, or don't. You didn't have that in between place. On the right hand side, number 2, here's the new option. So it's changed from a slider to a drop down, and you can see here I can record and transcribe, or transcribe only. It means that we can all have our cameras on without feeling self-conscious that we're all going to end up on a recording. It still supports Copilot and Intelligent Recap. And folks, you should have that actually any day now. And Laura likes that one. Laura, do you mind? You don't have to, of course, Laura. If you don't come off mute, I'm going to assume you don't want to. But what do you like about that? Is that going to be useful where you are?
Oh, that's going to be fantastic, because I used to want to record team meetings just for the transcript. And so I didn't want everyone's pictures. I hate looking at myself, so actually that was even better. So being able to just transcribe it without recording it is just I used to have to set it to automatically transcribe and record. So it told me it was doing it, so I could switch it off. and
Oh,
then
yeah, yeah.
just put it on as just
Oh,
transcribe
so you
so as
didn't
I
forget.
forget.
Oh, you used that as a reminder. I like that. That's very pragmatic of you, Laura. I like that a lot. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes, like I know this is different this session because it's a very one-way session, isn't it? But when we're having an engaging meeting where lots of people are talking, it's great to have your cameras on. It's just so much more engaging, isn't it? But you don't, like I say, you don't necessarily, you won't be able to pull faces at each other. You know, if you get distracted, that's okay. You have to step away. You don't want all that recorded. So I really like this up there as well. I'm glad that you folk do it too. Okay, just a quick thumbs up. I'm not going to call anyone out. Whenever I do a Teams presentation, I often just share my screen because I've got a couple of things to put across, a couple of things to show you, and that works well for me. But does anybody use PowerPoint Live? Does anyone use PowerPoint Live as their go-to?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we've got a few thumbs up. Anyone want to say why they use that rather than just share the screen and what they prefer about it?
One reason is to be able to see all meeting participants while you're sharing only the presentation and nothing else on your screen. So no notifications, no mishaps, sharing things that you have on your screen. It has happened to me, so that's one good reason. But many times people share PowerPoint in work mode or edit mode
Oh, I
because
know.
it's a collaboration meeting and people want
Yeah, yeah.
to simultaneously update the presentation
Uh-huh.
as well.
Katerina, I wonder if that is are you more inclined to use it if you only have one screen, or do you use it anyway? Is it better suited if you're presenting with one screen? If you had two screens, would you still use PowerPoint Live?
In some cases, yes, but
Yeah, you would.
yeah, if you have divided screens, you could obviously keep the
Yeah, yeah.
Teams meeting people there instead.
Oh, okay. How about you, Sarah? Were you going to say something about it?
Because of the functionality that you can click on links.
Uh-huh.
That's
Ah.
a favorite.
I
So
like that. So the links in the presentation are clickable if you use
yeah,
PowerPoint Live.
yeah,
Sarah, I
that's
did not
great.
know that. I did not know that. I am gonna. That's great, actually. That might change my view on it. So, folks, if anyone else didn't know that, hopefully that was helpful. Sarah, thank you for that little nugget. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so this change will let attendees select um, slide content on your slides, and then talk to Copilot about it. Now it's down here. See how tiny that is. That's down here. Let's have a closer look at this. So when I move on, you're going to see this section at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so you can see we've got this little sparkle. The little sparkle is just Copilot for AI stuff, isn't it? So we've got a little sparkle. So we're gonna click on there, and now look at this. I'm now able to select. So the screen grays out, and I'm able to select a portion of the screen. And once you select it, because you've used the little sparkle, you're going to get some Copilot related options. If you select explain this, you can see on the right hand side, it explains that a protocol is a set of rules that defines how data is formatted and transmitted, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you can then have a conversation and just explore that with Copilot if you want to. And then that will, and I think especially if you're doing very technical presentations, and maybe you've got some new people on the team, then you could probably do what Sarah and Katerina do, use uh, PowerPoint Live, and maybe explain to people who've got a Copilot license. If anything you don't understand, it's a bit technical, then remember that you can do this. And I wonder whether that would just help you more include people in your technical meetings. But regardless what your use of that, folks, mid to late May. Okie dokie. So, just checking the time, we're bang on time. Updates to unread message badge counts. So, just a quick reminder. Remember this section up here are quick views. So remember I talked about these quick views. They got a label recently, and you can collapse them. I particularly like. I know it's not shown on this screen. The three little dots next to mentions, for example, to say and you can say only show it if there's unread items. So if I don't have any unread mentions, then the mentions section is completely gone. So those new controls are great. They continue to enhance this section. And you're going to get this this badge counter, this purple dot that tells you how many unread items you've got in there. Now you might see that building up, building up, building up, but it might be that actually you might think none of them are urgent. Look at this next part here. So there's small purple dots next to your chats. If you get a purple dot next to one of these chats here, that tells you that one of these conversations, maybe I'm doing something really, really urgent with Charlotte and Babak, and I've ignored my followed threads or my mentions, but then this purple dot appears next to Charlotte and Babak. That tells me that this conversation is being included in this number and these unread items up here. So it might be that because that is urgent, I'm waiting on that. Actually, I am going to go in and have a look at those. Oops, I am going to go and have a look at those items. So two things. You're going to get these badges here. And if your colleagues ask you, why do I get these purple dots sometimes, why do I sometimes, and why do I not at other times, then you know to explain to them that this purple dot here tells you that this unread item is being included in one of these badges above, because it might be a little bit inconsistent, but now you know why that is. Okay, quickly access read items when using the unread only view. I almost didn't show this, folks, and then it became available to me because I thought actually, if I have explicitly said I want to look at unread items, why do I need a quick way to read the read items? I thought it just seemed a bit odd. I had a little play with it, and actually, and I'm struggling to explain it. You'll see in a minute, but it's actually better than it sounds. But let me show it to you. And if nothing else, you'll know why this eyeball is appearing here in the center, and then you'll be able to explain to people what that eye is for. Okay, so in my chats, I have filtered by unread only. So I'm only looking at unread stuff. And then when I hover, when my mouse goes over, curiously to me, it's only when I hover over this section. So you've got a section called favorites, and you can create custom ones, can't you? But then I see this eyeball. Now, if I click on the eyeball, I then get a list of all of the other chats in that section, so that I've already read. Okay, and I know that I'm really struggling to explain this. I can then click on, say, Amanda, and then even though I'm only looking at these unread things, Amanda, the chat of Amanda gets added there, and I can gauge your amount of Amanda as well. So it might be that I'm just catching up. It might be that I've had, I don't know, maybe Paul Haynes, you've had 2 weeks off, and you just go and you go through your unread stuff, and you're catching up with things. But actually, you need to have a quick chat with Beth Davis, and this shows you that there's unread chats in there. You click on it, and then you can add Beth Davis chat to this section here. That other than Beth Davis, it only shows you unread stuff, so you stay focused. It's the best I can do with that, folks. I really struggle to explain it. Have a go at it. It actually works a lot better than than you might think. And I've tried a few times to work out how to explain that to you. If nothing else, you know what that eyeball is for. When then someone might say, "But Dawn, I'm looking at my unread stuff. Why does this eyeball keep showing up and showing my stuff I've already read?" That's why, and it's actually more useful than you might think. Let's move on to something a little bit simpler. Teams on Windows will soon honor your Windows Do Not Disturb. So you can see here that we've come into our settings. I've gone to notification and activity, and I've got this new section here. When Windows Do Not Disturb is on, don't show Teams notifications. And you can see here that I can use a little slider, I can turn it on, and then it will start honoring that. So I don't personally engage. I don't actively set my Do Not Disturb settings in Windows, but if you do, folks, and you find that you then have to replicate that in Teams, you can turn that on, and that'll be available to you. It's off by default, and you can go in and do that, and it's available to you. Katerina, you popped your camera on. Were you going to comment on that and tell us why that's so amazing?
Yeah.
Or are you going to tell us why it's rubbish?
This is really good. We had a discussion about this actually today, and it's about brain-based working. If you want to use the Pomodoro technique, it's available from Windows, the clock. You can start a Pomodoro 20-minute session, and it turns Do Not Disturb on for that 20 minutes. So if Teams would honor that Do Not Disturb, that's really good news.
Katerina, for maybe everyone doesn't know what the Pomodoro technique is, and I think it's fantastic. You don't have to, but you'd like to give us a 30-second overview of what that is.
So if you watched the taskbar on your screen, on, if you have a PC, that is,
Yeah.
on your clock. If you click on the clock, and if you have Windows 11, there's something called focus. It's a small, so if you open this, click on focus, you get a Pomodoro and that, you know, the egg clock. So you get 30-minute focus time where you will not be disturbed, because Windows will turn on do not disturb. And if that also includes Teams, that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Very good. I like that. That is a fantastic use. So that is a genuine reason why that would work. Teams introduces efficiency mode to improve app responsiveness. So it might be that you've got an older machine, maybe a weak processor and not a lot of RAM. This mode is going to be on by default, and you can go in and turn it off if you want to, but it's just going to make Teams do a little bit less. When you open it, it's going to load a little bit less. It's going to show you less initially. It's going to dynamically change the resolution on your camera. So it's a better fit. So if you've got a not a very powerful PC, it's going to be, in quotes, a slightly smaller app. We're really looking forward to seeing how effective this is and how that works. Mid-May for that, folks. AI meeting recap without a transcript to meet compliance policies. So you're going to be able to have, and maybe I'll expand on this next month once I've got a closer look at it, because I've only got the short details from Microsoft. A meeting recap. So you're setting up your meeting, and you don't want a transcript, don't want a recording, but you want it to create a recap live, and then just provide that to you without creating a transcript and a recording. I know that will have people will say, okay, so with data residency, where is processing happening and stuff like that. So it might be that if you talk about this, you might need to think about those questions that you're going to get. But actually, being able to have a recap without a transcript and without a recording might be useful for compliance policies, depending on the sort of organization that you are. Private chat for organizers and presenters. So it might be that I'm doing a session. I've got 3 or 4 speakers, and instead of me having to wiggle my glasses when someone's running out of time, or take my glasses off when they're completely out of time, we'll be able to we can have a private chat, and this keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. I first talked about this around Christmas, pushed back to mid-July. I'm looking forward to it, but it keeps getting pushed away. Teams shared and private channels are going to have Planner. I told you about this in more detail last month. It's been pushed back a bit to late July. But now to have, I like the idea of having a Planner inside, say, a private channel, and the access to the plan is just the people in the private channel. It lives inside the SharePoint site. I think this is a great update, but it's been pushed back, unfortunately. They probably have a few kinks to iron out, don't they? So I think many of us will miss the retirement of Together mode. Remember, this came out during COVID, didn't it? And I think we all played with it during COVID, and most of us never turned it on again. Anyway, so in June, Together mode is going. And that funny change that Microsoft did, where they said they're going to stop reminding people that your meeting recording is going to expire. They've had a second thoughts on this, and they've put that on hold. So they're going to continue to tell you that your recordings are expiring. Breakout rooms, up to 1,000 attendees in a breakout room. I gotta be honest, that seems like a lot for a breakout room, but that functionality, it says due in June, but look at that icon. That tells you that is from the 365 roadmap, and it hasn't made it into the admin center yet. So that's probably going to get pushed back a little bit. Folks, we're going to fly straight through to a couple of things around Microsoft 365 to get a couple of minutes back. Copilot entry point changes in Excel. I'm talking about Excel, but I checked this before I came on the call. This is the same for Word and the same for PowerPoint. You might be used to looking at the Home tab and getting Copilot up here. Okay, you're going to change and get this floating icon down here on the right hand side. And if you use Microsoft Forms, remember that's the entry point, how to activate Copilot in Forms as well, isn't it? So look at this. So if I click on there, or hover over it, sorry, it will pop up with some ideas for you. I can right click on it and I can dock it to the side, or I can click on it and then it opens up. This might be worth pointing out to your colleagues as well. Remember a little way back when it was on the taskbar at the top, then you'd have Copilot or you'd have App Skills, okay, and then that changed to Agent Mode, didn't it? And that people found that a little bit confusing, so Microsoft acknowledged that. So now, look at this. You've got this drop down for Allow Editing, and that's changing to allow editing. So we're looking on the content, whether that's Excel, Word, or PowerPoint. Or if I want to, I can go to chat mode only. So it's like, this is assistant on my side, we're talking on the side. So it's a very clear distinction between working on the canvas, whatever the canvas is, or working in chat. So it's another change. And sometimes you see these changes, and you're like, I really wish you'd stop changing stuff so much. But what they're changing it to, they're changing it so it's consistent across the apps. So instead of us having to learn how to use Copilot in this app, and then where do I find Copilot here, and how do I activate it here? Is it above the slide? Is it on the ribbon? The chat is becoming the place where you do your co-piloting on your content. So although it's another change, at least it's a unified way of working, which I do think is better. Okay, so April to early May. So I've got it across my apps now, but it might be a little bit delayed for you. Surveys agent, it's been renamed Forms agent. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because you work on the surveys agent and they would take you into Forms. So it's just getting renamed. I think that does make sense. Open PDF, Word, Excel, PowerPoint files in M365 Copilot chat. So if Copilot is referencing something and you click on it, instead of it opening up in the browser, it will open up in that window and you can engage in that window. So you're not coming in and out of the chat. That chat box is becoming your unified place to do your computing. And it's also going to show content in there so you don't have to go out to browsers.
Yeah.
Another one that's a bit further out, I hope to tell you about this next month, but plan mode for Copilot in Excel. So what this means is you can tell Copilot what you want to do in plan mode, and it will talk to you. And it said, okay, Mark, I'm going to do this, and this to your worksheet. And you might say, no, Copilot, what I meant was this. And you change your plan, and then it goes, oh, I see what you mean now. Let's go and we're going to do this, and this. And it's going to tell you everything it's going to do. And then you tell it to hop onto the canvas and do the thing to yourselves. Okay, instead of it doing it as you go along, and you're like, that's not what I meant. You need to change that and undo it. You can create a plan and then commit the plan. How good does that sound? Hopefully, I'll be telling you more about that next month.